This lesson's on units. This is the most basic lesson to start with because it helps us in science make meaning of quantities. For example, if I said go 4, it doesn't make any sense. But if I said go 4 meters, I add the unit of meters, it would make more sense to you about what distance I should go. So we're going to talk a little bit about units. So here we go. We're going to start with base units. Base units are units of, let me go ahead and put this here, length, for example. We could come up with a couple of them. Miles, meters are a good example of base units. Inches, feet, all length base units. Kilometers is a good one. We call these base units because some other units, derived units, actually use these as part of their unit base. Time. Time is another good example of a dimension where we have different time units. So let's come up with some time units here. We have hours, minutes, seconds, all examples of time units. How about mass? Pretty standard ones, grams and kilograms. There's also ones that we don't know that well, like slugs. We won't use slugs. Temperature, good examples of base units. You know them, probably degrees Celsius, degrees Fahrenheit, Kelvin, all good examples of base units. Each of these units can be used, but we got to figure out which ones we use in science, which ones we'll use in physics. Well, specifically of these base units, we use, and let me go ahead and circle a couple of these here. We will use, for length, we will use the meter. For time, we will use seconds. For mass, we will use kilograms. And for temperature, well, we'll use some Celsius, but we'll also mainly use Kelvin. So it could be Celsius, so I'll underline that a little bit. All right, so let's finish this up by talking about some more units. These units are a little bit different than base units in that you can make these units up by using more than one base unit. So let me give you some examples. Here we have area, for example. Well, a couple of examples would be square feet, square meters, square centimeters. Volume, we could have cubic feet, cubic meters, maybe like a gallon or a cup. Speed, miles per hour, which you could write it miles over hours, right, per. Inches per minute, meters per second. You'll notice in all these cases, it actually is made up of base units. Even when it gets weird, for example, like force could be pounds or newtons. Well, technically a newton is a kilogram meter per second, and those are base units, kilograms, meters, and seconds. So if we go through here, and we can look at each one, we could figure out which ones we'll end up using just based on the base units that we use for physics. So for area, we will use meters squared. Volume, cubic meters. Speed, meters per second. And for force, we want to use the one that's kilograms meters per second, so we'll use newtons. Nice. Those are units.